NFL trade deadline is days away, to the surprise of nobody. The trade rumors are hot right now. We have several more to discuss with that NFL trade deadline rapidly approaching here on the Cowboys Report. If the Cowboys make a trade, we'll have live trade deadline coverage no matter what. And as the news and rumors continue to flow, we will have you covered. So do not miss out. Hit that sub button right now, youtube.com/CowboysTV. Now, Dianna Russini on, I think it was one of the Fox Sports shows, First Things First, whichever one it was, I don't remember, revealed that she talked with Jerry Jones at the NFL's owners' meetings, and I bet this will come out in one of her Friday, Saturday trade buzz articles. It says, Jerry told me on the record they are not going pass rush. I walked away from the conversation with him as they're going to look around, but I just don't think they're going to make some big splash. I just don't think there's any player available that makes sense contractually and worth the picks. In regards to Russini's report, I hate the idea of the Cowboys completely ignoring pass rush, and it means one of two things. The Cowboys and Jerry were being honest when he told her that, and they don't want to acknowledge they maybe miss Micah Parsons as a pass rusher. Or maybe they got good at lying finally. And they have been calling around shopping on an edge rusher. Maybe the good edges aren't available. I don't think the Cowboys are going to make a big splash either. But also, what does a big splash mean? Does a big splash mean the Cowboys are not going to go get Hendrickson Crosby? Yeah, they're just not going to. I don't think those guys are available. What do like Jaelan Phillips and Jermaine Johnson fall into in terms of the big splash category? If those guys don't count as a big splash, maybe it is in play. I do think the Cowboys have kind of learned some lessons. My conspiracy theory is that they did call about Max Crosby. They were quickly told no, and they're just trying to play their cards close to the vest and leak to local media that they had not called. How it plays out, we'll see over the next 10-ish days, but I do think the Cowboys have some at least internal interest in making a trade. Let's check in on the Jets with what Jordan Schultz reported earlier this week. Says teams keeping an eye on New York, and some names being mentioned are Breece Hall, Quincy Williams, Jermaine Johnson, Will McDonald, Michael Carter, and Alan Lazard, who I'm convinced is a future Steeler. Schultz also reporting that one source told him there's an element of trying to figure out who are Glenn's guys who aren't. Remember Detroit suddenly flipped T.J. Hawkinson? A building block from the last stream is not going to be a guaranteed building block in this one. Three names that stand out for me to help the Cowboys defense in particular are Will McDonald, Jermaine Johnson, and Quincy Williams. Let's discuss all three of them here on today's show. We're going to begin with McDonald. His pressure numbers are down a little bit. He did have 10.5 sacks last year. I think the overall production for everyone on this Jets team is down because, well, they're just not as good of a football team. I do think the Cowboys would have interest here because they liked him coming out of Iowa State. Now, that was also Dan Quinn influence, but had he been available in round one when they picked, I think there's a real chance the Cowboys would have drafted McDonald in that class. However, ESPN's Jeremy Fowler saying that New York would be more willing to part with Jermaine Johnson than they would Will McDonald IV. There is more team control for McDonald, by the way, which certainly is worth mentioning. I would also have interest in Jermaine Johnson, who does have this year and his fifth-year option next year under team control. Not as good a production this year. He was really good in 2023. Even the pressure rates were above what it was in sacks, and it felt like the year 3 breakout, double-digit sacks was going to happen, and then he got hurt. And he's only played in 6 games the last 2 seasons, has missed some time with injury, the big one, of course, coming in 2024. I think the team control, the size is a bit bigger, which I think does benefit you because you could use some size at edge. Otherwise, all of your best edges outside of Clowney, your undersized guys, it gets a little bit disconcerting. I would have interest in Jermaine Johnson. We'll see if he's available or not. Do you agree with me? Would you go trade for him? Y for yes, N for no. Let me know in the comments section of today's show. Y for yes, N for no. Now, there was some, Jane Slater cold water bucket getting thrown on this one. Jermaine Johnson tweeting out the "I'm not leaving" gif from The Wolf of Wall Street. You guys know what that one was, right? Super funny movie. He then spoke with media on Thursday saying that he spoke with the front office. They're all in alignment. He's not going to get traded. We'll see. That actually worries me big picture because as we'll get into more in depth later on today's show, I think there are multiple teams that will also be on the hunt for edge help, including San Francisco, who has Robert Saleh, who coached these guys and would love these Jets players, I bet. It is a seller's market. And I don't know if that helps the Cowboys at all because, Well, they don't win very many bidding wars these days. I bet the Niners will also have interest in Quincy Williams because, again, Robert Saleh, Fred Warner's hurt, unfortunately. I would also have interest in Quincy. How his brother Quinnen would feel about the Jets trading him away, I am not so certain, but I think he'd be a big upgrade for the Cowboys. The hair would have to change a little bit. Get you some nice royal blue. It's fine, bud. The Jags guy was bad. He was not a good player for Jacksonville. The Jets one's been really good, though. He's been awesome. I've been pleasantly surprised how impactful he has been. He's been banged up a bit as well. The Cowboys benefited not having to go against Jermaine or Quincy in their matchup. He is a good football player. I just wonder how willing the Jets are when all three players we just mentioned, McDonald, Johnson, and Williams, are all under contract beyond this season. One assistant GM reportedly told Fox Sports that the Jets are listening, but their prices are high, which tells me they're not serious about trading yet. Or maybe they're just not in fire sale mode. Remember, Quincy Williams, Jermaine Johnson, and Will McDonald all under contract going into next season. They don't have to make a trade if they don't want to. Today's show is made possible by Tushy. A-hole is only a dirty word if you don't wipe. I've said many mean things about the officiating in the NFL, but I guess we can call him a skid mark instead. Tushy is the everyday luxury bidet that instantly transforms your bathroom habits and bottom health for life. 99% of people who wash with Tushy Wave feel cleaner and fresher after going to the bathroom. Tushy Wave instantly modernizes your daily routine and bathroom with a super sleek seat plus 2 separate front and rear nozzles for the most complete clean. Every Tushy bidet easily attaches to your existing toilet without the need for additional plumbing. This is daily decadence with practical benefits. Instead of wiping endlessly with toilet paper, Tushy pristinely removes 99% of bacteria while protecting your natural skin barrier thanks to one natural ingredient. It's just fresh water. Every Health Tushy bidet comes with a 30-day hassle return and a 12-month warranty as well. Remember, a-hole is only a dirty word if you wipe. For a limited time, our listeners get 10% off their first bidet order when you use code CHAT at checkout. That's 10% off your first bidet order at hellotushy.com/chat with promo code CHAT. Link will be in the comments section and the description of today's show. Let's go to the Dolphins here. They have multiple edge rushers who I think could end up being put on the market at the trade deadline. Ralph Facci over at Fox Sports had this to say. As for the Dolphins, the personnel executives said they seem frozen because neither GM Chris Grier nor head coach Mike McDaniel knows for sure how much longer they'll have their jobs. The Dolphins' status is interesting in terms of they should be sellers. They should be a team that tries to shop and get assets back. They're in a weird spot. I mentioned how the edge market, I think, is a seller's market. I think the Eagles, they've been linked a lot in it, and this is all teams mentioned by Fox Sports, by the way, teams that could be in the market there. The Chiefs have been mentioned. The Niners are an obvious team. The Lions are an obvious team. Patriots, I'm not as convinced about. The receiver makes more sense for them. Cowboys, the Colts have been linked in the edge rusher market. I don't see a lot of truly available pieces right now in that edge group. But two of them that are noteworthy reside in Miami. Bradley Chubb is first up here. Now, his sack numbers are good. He's under contract for several more years. The Dolphins don't have to trade him. They just pay him. They don't save a lot of money. I would almost be more intrigued, depending on what the cost is for both guys, in Jaelan Phillips. I know the sack numbers aren't as high compared to Bradley Chubb. The pressure rate's higher. I think the athletic juice is a little bit better right now. He is a rental, though, and that makes it tricky of, like, how much does it cost? Like, if it's a 4 or a 5, I have interest. Although I would like to have one fourth-round pick at some point this year or these next 4 years for the Cowboys. But he's a pending free agent. You know, the Dolphins might not spend a lot in free agency, but maybe they don't want to go the comp pick route there on Phillips. He strikes me as the most logical trade candidate of the Dolphins' edges. It's going to get value back. Like, they trade Matthew Judon, but I don't know who wants Matthew Judon at this point. So name a player who you want to trade for. Let me know in the comments section of today's show. Two Titans players mentioned by Bleacher Report specifically for the Dallas Cowboys, Cody Barton and Roger McCreary. Let's go to Barton first and foremost, the linebacker, which I wouldn't be shocked if off-ball linebacker ends up being a need for the Cowboys, even with Overshown's impending return. I would like to try to find an upgrade there if I can. I don't know how much better Cody Barton is. He's put up some good tackle numbers over the course of his career. He's been a little inconsistent in coverage for Seattle and for the Commanders, and Tennessee's been okay. I don't mind the player, but I do think that this trade idea that Bleacher Report cooked up is a little bit expensive. They proposed a 4th-round pick for Tennessee, and the Cowboys get Cody Barton. And I think that's a lot. That's rich for me. So would you do this trade? T for trade, P for pass. Let me know in the comments section of today's show. Look, I don't hate Cody Barton as a player. This seems a little rich for low-end starter. Like, I don't know if the difference between Cody Barton, Shamar James, and Maurice Liufau is 3 linebackers, right, is a 4th-round pick difference. I don't think that's the case. He's not that expensive. The prorated figure is about half of the $2.3 million price tag, depending on when you trade for him. But, $6.5 million next year, it's not that bad, but 1.5 is guaranteed. I just wonder if you could find a better linebacker that probably is cheaper even. Roger McCreary, also mentioned by Bleacher Report, and he's fun. I've always liked Roger McCreary. He's a little undersized, but he was a second-round pick out of Auburn. He's scrappy. He'll fit the run. He can do that type of stuff. He actually does somewhat fit Matt Eberflus. Not a huge interception guy, but he had 12 TFLs last year. When you're one of your nickel corners is getting in the backfield, it means it's a good run support player. I think McCreary fits that mold. The trade package for a rental was rich, a 4th-round pick. It's expensive. In general, I have found that Bleacher Report's trade ideas are not good. They are either way too expensive or way too cheap. There's never yeah, that makes sense. It's always that's a lot. And I've been a fan of McCreary since the draft, but he has sub 29-inch arms, and the Cowboys are ableist. They want long-armed corners. They don't like having short-armed guys. They never add them. Even Reddy Stewart, who's undersized, has 30-1/4-inch arms, which is about as short as they go. I would be pretty surprised if the Cowboys went after McCreary because of that.